There we go. Well, I'm actually going to go ahead and start this conversation on time. If people pop in, then we'll revisit it just a tad bit, but there will be a playback on YouTube as well. But today's topic, we will be discussing more about small business programs. And I'll go ahead and introduce myself for anyone here for the first time. My name is Shakia Kegler, and I am the founder and CEO of GovLia. So GovLia is a software platform and a ecosystem of small businesses and government small businesses and government agencies. We help small businesses who are interested in selling their products and services to government agencies through our hands-on trainings, but mostly our software and actually connecting with these agencies and prime contractors to locate opportunities for businesses. And what really prompted conversation today was an article that we took a look at, and our team was taking a look at over the week throughout the week from in Houston. Harris County actually scored, and actually I'll pull it up on here, but at Harris County actually scored got a failing grade for diversity. And we wanted to highlight that and talk a little bit more about small business programs and the benefits of small business programs and how these programs actually benefit the community. So I'm going to show that article. And I shared this post on Instagram, actually. Got it. So yeah, and they had like a disparity study that came out and really just showed that the contracts weren't being awarded to women-owned businesses and minority-owned businesses at the same rate that they were going to, let me stop, at the same rate that they were going to non-minority and women-owned businesses. So one of the things that sharing about was the small business programs. So what small business programs are is at the federal, state, and local government levels, they have programs in place that actually work to benefit the small business, and it provides them a certain competitive advantage in the marketplace. It also helps them in terms of like marketing their business as well to government agencies, because the small business programs focus directly on small businesses, women-owned businesses, and minority-owned businesses in this space. Let me share this. So yeah, it focuses on small businesses, minority-owned businesses, and women-owned businesses in this space. And they also have some for veteran-owned businesses and businesses that are located in a historically underutilized business zone. So that's at the federal level, but there are also opportunities at the state level and the local government levels as well, which we'll get into a little bit. But at the federal level, the SBA has a number of different programs. So I'm pretty sure you've heard of the Women-Owned Business Program, or the Minority-Owned Business Program. How many people have actually heard of those programs? And there are two ways we can communicate here. You can either drop it in the chat, or yeah, you can drop it in the chat, or you could just, you know, if you want to interact. This, like I said, this will be live streamed, so it will show on social media as well. So if you want to, you can do that, drop it in the chat, or just turn video on, and you know, we can interact that way. But yes, so the federal government, they have different programs, small business programs for businesses, and they have them for these woman-owned business. They have a minority-owned business program. I mean, not a minority, it's an 8A. It's a disadvantaged business program. Let's go down here. Right here. So we have the woman-owned business program, the service disabled or the veteran-owned business program, the disadvantaged business program, and the Hubzone program. So like I was saying, these programs are used so that way it allows businesses to get certified. And then once they're certified, governments have so much funding that they use, they actually have to set aside a certain amount of this funding to go to these businesses that are actually certified, and as well as requiring prime contractors to locate and find these subcontractors who are certified. So there's also another post that I posted about today showing, subcontracting opportunities. This one in particular is looking for minority-owned businesses in South Carolina. In Charleston, South Carolina, who can provide any of these 4 jobs. So the way that works is if a huge job comes out on the market, and let's say, is 17 million, 19 million, even some jobs that range in like a 9 million market, they'll have a requirement, a small business requirement goal. And what that means is, let's say the goal is 9% or even 30%, however the goal works, depending on what that agency is requiring. So in order for that prime contractor to bid on that contract, they have to have a subcontractor plan in place, right? They have to have or bid on this requirement with subcontractors who can provide these jobs. So before I pass into this, let me know if that first part is making sense, and I'm not going too fast. Let me know I need to slow down. So let's talk about it just a little bit. You can give me like a GTG, good to go, or just say slow down, whatever the case may be. And if you have a question, also drop that question in there as well. Okay, so we got a GTG. All right. Okay, cool. So yeah, so at the federal level, like I was saying, they have programs. State and local governments also have programs as well. So at the federal level, you can go through the SBA. So the SBA governs most of these programs at the federal level. The only 2 that are an exception are the DBE program is actually governed by Florida Department of Transportation. So that DBE program is the Disadvantaged Business Program. And well, not Florida. It's not just Florida. The Department of Transportation. I'm in Florida, so I always go to FDOT. But just the Department of Transportation, they manage that DBE program. And it's actually their Civil Rights Department who manages the DBE program. And that one is for businesses who want to get certified and who want to become a part of that program, get certified, and do business with the Department of Transportation in these state agencies. Let me put DBE in here so that way it'll go directly to the page. So, and it's another thing too, throughout these sessions, I like to walk through the actual like steps of how to search, how to find this information, what the terminology is, because it makes it a lot easier for you to remember that, hey, our biggest tool that we can use to find this stuff is Google. It's just a matter of understanding the language and the context around it. But yeah, so the SBA at the federal level, the SBA governs most of those small business programs, but then we have the Department of Transportation. So the Department of Transportation manages this DBE program. Now, the Department of Transportation has a office or an actual department for an agency. There we go. An agency in every state. So Florida Department of Transportation manages the Florida disadvantaged businesses, but all of the disadvantaged businesses can be shown on this website. And you could actually do business in another state with that certification. You just have, it's a simpler process to go through if you wanted to leverage your certification there. So then we also have the veteran-owned certification, which it's managed by the SBA. It's governed by the SBA, but it's managed mostly by the VA. Yeah, it's governed by the SBA, but it's managed mostly by the VA. And all of these programs have requirements in order for a business to qualify and get certified in it. So I'll show you some of the requirements right here because we are certifications. Okay, so one question is, can you do certifications online due to COVID? So at the federal level, all of those certifications are online. But at the state and local government levels, some of them are still paper applications. And if you know of any that are paper applications, let us know, because we have a software that makes it easier for businesses to get certified, and we can digitize those application processes for those government agencies. So if you know of any that need help digitizing them, drop them in the chat, and I will definitely reach out to them to work with them. Which ones? Oh, I'm happy you said that, Keisha. So the question is, which one do we have to pay for? She said she saw one that was $400 for the woman-owned small business. So I'm actually, because I'm on the woman-owned small business, I'm going to get into that one. We also, which I got to remember to start checking the YouTube, because we have a question on here. Oh, no, someone said they're waiting for their SAM to get certified. Yes, which is another part of the federal space. In order to apply for these programs, you have to go through the steps of getting registered with the federal government. And it's a 3-step process. You apply for your DUNS number, you apply to get a DUNS number, and then you register in sam.gov, which is completely free. Both are free. Do not pay for these things. It is free. And you just go to sam.gov to do that registration. You create an account on there, and then you do the registration. So the SAM process is a 2-step process. You create the account, and then you apply for the registration. And if you need to see that, on our YouTube channel, there's actually a video where we go through the process of decoding government contracting, where we show the steps of how to register for SAM. And it's it's an hour-long video, and it has a lot of information in there about doing business with the federal government, but we just don't tap into the SBA programs as much. So, now I'm going to hop into this woman-owned small business one. So right here, you can see, so there's 2 programs under this particular program. It's the woman-owned small business, and also an economically disadvantaged woman-owned small business, right? So then you go into seeing like the regulations for this requirement. Okay. Also here, they talk about the benefits of the program. And then here you can see the requirements to like the eligibility requirements. So you must be a small business as defined by the Sba Size Standards. So Sba Size Standards vary based off of your business's NAICS code. And what that means is, so here's an example. There's a company that's a construction company, and then there's a company that is and administrative, and they do administrative work and provide administrative services. So if a company that's doing business in the construction industry, their goal would be, let's say, $7 million. For a construction industry, that's not like a lot of money, because construction costs so much and everything that goes into it. But if there's an administration firm, they just provide professional services, and they're making over, $7 million, right? That's a different ball game, right? So that's they've stepped into a different ball game in terms of providing services, and they have capacity at that point. So the size standards vary based off of the business NAICS codes. And also in that same video, you can see more information about NAICS codes and how to identify your NAICS codes. And they also have like a size standard chart that shows you basically how much, like what the size standards are. Oh, they have a tool now. So like I was saying, 541611, that's the administrative support services. So we'll do that, 541611. And let's say our yearly average is $7 million. So let's see, they'll let you know. Yes. Okay. So actually for this investigative services, it's 22 million in order to be considered a small business. So as long as you make anything below $22 million, you are considered a small business. So that's also how 98% of the businesses in the United States are considered small businesses. But Yeah. So we'll go back to that. Now, with this woman-owned, with this woman-owned small business, they actually just updated the requirements of it. So before, you could go through the process of getting certified through like this self-certified system where or you can go in SAM and you can just self-certify on sam.gov and say, hey, we're woman owned. But now the SBA has an actual process, an actual process online to where you can go in and apply for certification. Right here, as you can see, this link says at certified.sba.gov. So like I said, you wouldn't be able to create an account on this certified.sba website until your SAM account is approved and active. It has to go through a steps, like a few steps to get approved and active. Right. So yep, and it also tells you those steps right there too. So Keisha was saying about the process of, well, the requirements to pay like $400 for application. So there are two ways to get certified and it be counted for you, right? So you can either do the process of the self-certification through the certified.sba.gov, or you can go through an approved third-party certifier. So these are the list of approved third-party certifiers that you would be able to go to. Two of the most prominent ones are the National Women Business Owner Corporation and WeBank, which is the Women Business Enterprise National Council, right? So those are the two prominent ones in this space. And yes, they do charge for their application. The difference between the one that's governed by the SBA that's completely free and the one that is governed by these third-party organizations is that usually these certifications are also used in the corporate space as well. So if you were thinking about doing it to leverage the opportunity to sell to corporations, the Googles, the the bigger corporations that are actually doing work and or accepting some of the work that you are doing or purchasing some of the services that you provide, you'll be able to leverage your connection with this organization to do that stuff. But like I said, you could still do that with the application through the certified.sba as well. You just have to show that proof, because a lot of the organizations also accept the federal. Yeah, a lot of the corporate organizations will accept the federal certifications as well. So like I said, it's two different ways you can go through that. The benefits of the actual third-party certifiers is that they have like a full organization of other women in business who have went through this process. They often have meetings, they have local chapters, they have conferences and events you can go to and meet some of these corporate partners and some of the government partners as well to really do business with. And this will also be the same for like any any minority owned 2 seconds my laptop, any minority owned applications. Okay, sorry about that. My laptop is dying. I don't know how I didn't think to charge this up right now. But yeah, so the same with the minority MBE certification. So there's an organization, the National Minority Business Council as well, National Minority Supplier Development Council, my apologies. But yeah, they have a certification that's for minority owned businesses, and you can do the same thing. Like I was saying, take advantage of those programs in the organization and the collective of people that they have. So we're actually a part of the National Minority Supplier Development Council's Emerging Young Entrepreneur Program. So very familiar with that program, very familiar with that organization. And I've been to one of the conferences and had the opportunity to connect and be face to face with some people that, you can only send emails to and pray that they return your email. So just a little bit, like I said, you do not have to go through this process if your focus is primarily to do business with government agencies. You really want to, be strategic, of course, about like the capital that you are spending, and how realistic will it be for you to actually go through the process of using these services, right? Yeah, that was it. So that's what it is with the third party organizations. There are also certifications and third party organizations. I'm muted. Can everyone hear me? Can you hear me now? There we go. There should be, okay, perfect. So there are other third-party organizations for, there's an organization called Disability In for individuals who have disabilities and they want to get certified. They can do business with corporations on that front. And then the other one, veterans, there are veteran certifications you can go through. Like third-party organizations, if you wanted to just take that route to go through third-party certifiers. And then also for the LGBTQ community, they have a certification process as well for their businesses who are doing business in a corporate space. And can you self-certify as a veteran-owned business? So the answer to that is yes. So that self-certification process would be one of the federal certifications. And that would be through the, like I said, governed by the SBA. And I'll actually drop this link in the chat just so you can go to it. Yeah, I'll drop this link in the chat just so you can go to it. But I'll drop it over here too. Yeah, so for that one, you'll be able to, do you have to be, yes, you have to be disabled. You have to be able to prove that you are disabled as well. Well, there are a few different ways you can do that. Of course, it's basically your information, doctor's information, and then of course, if you are like a veteran, you can use your awards letter for your disability awards claim. Let's do this. So we have another card. Is there a third party program to assist with SAM registration? So there are companies who actually they do help with the SAM registration process. And they charge money for you to do that. And like I said, I don't see anything wrong with paying for the services if you you're having a hard time with it, or you just needs a little extra guidance on it. Yes, of course, go ahead and do that. But if it's something that you just feel like it's unfamiliar, you don't know about it, you want to try it yourself, then shoot me an email and we can set up something to work on that. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you are disabled. So the question is, does it matter if you are disabled on duty or just disabled in general? The answer is it doesn't matter. So you can be because that one's not specifically for veterans. So the one that's specifically for veterans, yes, you have to be for the service disabled veteran on one, you have to be deemed by the VA disabled. But the thing is with that one is the requirements is you have to have at least a 0% rating. So that doesn't, you can go in, do your disability claim and still, not get paid for having that disability, but you will still possibly have a 0% rating. So you can still apply for that program. But for like the organizations like Disability In, those are more for, like I said, it's third party. So it's more for just individuals who are disabled. They will be able to leverage, those certifications to do business within that space, right? Drop the lid. Let's see. Let's see if it pops up. I should have went to Google instead. So okay. So Ebony's saying for the SAM, the FAR is hard to understand. Yeah, I get that. And that most of those questions for the FAR are like at the end, towards the end of the application, and it's usually based off of your NAICS codes. So if it's something that, it aligns with your NAICS codes, then that's something that you know, if you don't know much about it, or it's something that's worth like taking a look at. But like I said, shoot me an email, and we can hop on a 20-minute call and figure out, at least start the application and get to the part where you're having an issue, and then schedule that call, that consultation, and we'll hop on a call and iron those things out. But back to Ty's question with the disability. This is an organization, Disability, and that you can go to for the application to do business for any with any of the corporates in that space, right? So I'm gonna hop back into these SBA programs just before we get too far, because I also wanted to talk about the state and local programs as well, but we're already almost 30 minutes in, so and I still have only gotten through one of them. But so yeah, for also with the federal government, they have the veteran-owned and the service disabled veteran-owned certification, or small business program. And the requirements for this program is, of course, be a small business based off of the size standards of your NAICS codes, and then 51% owned and controlled by a service disabled or veteran, by one or more service disabled or veterans, right? So with this process, when they say own and control, you have to upload documentation to prove who owns and who's managing and running this organization. And that's usually your articles of incorporation, your operating agreement, and it's a few more documents. You have to upload your tax returns. I'm not going to get too much into these because there will be another session on Let's Get Certified, which is not next week, the following week. So next week we'll probably end up doing a part 2 of small business programs, but the week after we will be doing a Let's Get Certified, where we go through the different documentation that is required for these certifications, what it needs to look like, and if you have some questions on some paperwork that you are working on, we can go through that too, iron out some of those details. So the next one is you have to be eligible veterans must have a service-connected disability. So that goes back into that question that you asked, yes, for this service disabled veteran, you do have to have that service disabled connection. But like I said, this is a 2-part application. So there's a veteran-owned small business and a service disabled veteran-owned. You don't have to be disabled in order to get the veteran-owned side of, to reap the benefits of the veteran-owned certification. So let me scroll up here to the top so you can see. Do they didn't break it down by that, but yeah, they didn't break it down. But yeah, it's 2 parts. It's 2 parts. So this is for the disabled veteran program. Yeah. So there, like I said, it's 2 parts of this. And then we go into another one, which is the DB, the Disadvantaged Business Program, which is really, it's the 8A. And I know you hear a lot about this 8A program. And this program is, when I tell you it's an awesome program, it's created millionaires, billionaires off of, being a part of this program. But the thing is, because this program, you only have a certain period in this program, it's best to understand the purchasing process, understand how to do business with the government prior to going after this contract. After this small business program, because you want to make sure that you understand how to navigate the waters of doing business with the government. Because like I said, this program is only I think it's the length of that you can be in the program is 9 years. It seems like a long time, but once you get into it, and if you're not, leveraging this certification, you are missing out on a lot. So, and in order to do business, so I'm glad you asked that because we got in here too. So in order to do business, to go through this process, you have to be a small business, not already have participated in the 8A program. You have to be 51% owned and controlled by a U.S. citizen who is economically and socially disadvantaged, be owned by someone whose net worth is 250,000 or less, be owned by someone whose average adjusted growth income for 3 years is $250 or $250,000 or less. So and you must be owned by someone with $4 million or less in assets. So the ownership has to manage the day-to-day and make long-term decisions, and they have to be able to demonstrate good character, right? So with this one, you have to be in business. I'm sure it's 3 years. I'm sure it's 3 years. So you have to be in business for at least 3 years with this application process. Hold on. Let me verify. They don't have it on here. But yeah, for this one, you have to be in business. I'm sure it's 3 years. I'm sure you have to be in business for 3 years. And also on the certified.sba website, let me show you. They have a little quiz that you can take to show you if you are eligible. To apply for the certifications. So here we are. So right here in this top like navigation bar, you'll see they have everything you need to know mostly on this website for the 8A program, the Woman-Owned Small Business Program, and the Mentor Protege program. Like I said, that VA program, the veteran program is managed by the VA. So there's a different website with more information on that one. But oh yeah, Hubzone. Hubzone, it'll tell you if you're qualified, but I think the Hubzone is the Hubzone is still in a different platform right now. But yeah, you just go through that this questionnaire, and it'll let you know which ones you are, apply for. So I put no on this one, and it'll let you know in order to participate, you must not have been debarred or suspended from doing business with the federal government. And you can always restart it just in case you didn't know like what debarred or suspended mean. That just means you got in trouble before for trying to defraud the government or something in that case, or you didn't, perform the work on this contract. It's a few different ways. Usually it's not just performing the work on the contract, but it's something about really being like malicious in intent. And if you the first time doing business with the government, you don't have to worry about that at all. But yeah, so you can go through this questionnaire, play with it to see if this is a good route for you, which program is a good route for you. So I'll drop that in the chat as well. Okay, there we go. I can do that one over here. Yeah, so yeah, and that one is another way you can go through the process to see if you're eligible. And then next for the federal government program is the Hubzone. So Hubzone stands for Historically Underutilized Business Zones. Can you fill out the... Yes, you can fill out. So the question is, can you fill out the 8A and certify on your own? Yes. So you can go through any of these certifications. You can do them on your own. And I'll say like this, you can apply, you can get other companies and organizations to do the certification for you. But by the time you gather all the documentation and give it to them, all they're really doing is filling it out and answering questions on these certifications. So, and I'm not like trying to take money out of nobody's pocket. I'm trying to tell you, like, if you can do it, don't spend the money on it, because at the end of the day, it's still your business and you know all this information about the business. And the hardest part is really gathering the documentation. So once you got all the documents, once you got all that together, and I always say gather the documents first, figure out what the required documentation is, gather those documents first, and then go and fill out the application. So Yeah, so there we go. So Hubzone, so it's a historically underutilized business zone, and this is for businesses that are located in areas that probably only have a few businesses, or they're in a rural area. But it's a way to provide them with some incentives to keep their businesses located there, or locate a business there, and take advantage of the opportunities of doing business with the government. And I'll go back to the requirements for these programs as well, because I talked about set aside in the beginning, but I'm going to go back and show you. I just want to talk about the programs and then go back and let you know about it. So to be a part of this program, you have to have a business in that area, and you have to have staff that lives in that area, or yeah, that's staff that lives in that area as well. So we'll go here. Program requirements: be a small business, 51% owned, and controlled by U.S. citizens, development corporation, or agricultural cooperative, in a Native Hawaiian organization or Indian tribe. The next one is have a principal office located in that hub zone. They also have a hub zone map that you can test it out to see if your address, your business address, is located in a hub zone. So you can drop that in the chat, but you can put on this Hubzone map, you can actually put in your address, your business address, and it'll let you know if your business is located in that hub zone. So I'm going to give you a minute, test it out. I want to see how many people have businesses in a hub zone that they did not know about. So I'm dropping it on YouTube right now. So how many businesses are located in a hub zone and they did not know about this opportunity, or they're just really just finding out for the first moment? So I'll actually put my address in as well. Got it. So yeah, I'm actually in a hub zone. Child. Did anybody else get lucky enough? All right. All right, I don't see anyone saying anything, so maybe I'm the only one in the hub zone around here. Okay, all right, it's okay. Uh-oh, Rosemary is in the hub zone. I see it. It's okay, Ebony, that's fine. You don't have to be in one, but a little bit, a little extra money. But it's a good idea to think about it for your next location, your next business location. You can, test it out to see if you're located in one of those spaces. And I'm not saying like get a space strictly off of the opportunity to leverage this. But if you are moving, like sometimes it's literally like a street over that you can be in, that they have a hub zone, because the map is crazy. Okay, let's zoom out. The map is crazy. Like here, I'm located in the hub zone, but like literally, like I was saying, a street over, this is not a hub zone. This is not a part of that hub zone map for us. So take a look into that stuff, especially if you're like one of your primary areas of doing business will be with the federal government. So now we hop into the set aside discussion around this, and the reason that these programs are so important, right? So with the opportunities, like I said, they have funds that are set aside. So if the federal government has vowed to spend, $500 billion with small businesses, or $500 billion, just throwing this number out there. No, it's way more money than that, but 5% of that, of those total contracting dollars, would have to go to women-owned businesses, small disadvantaged businesses, That'll be 5%, and that's that 8A program as well. And then service disabled veteran-owned businesses, that's 3%, and businesses located in the Hubzone, that's 3% as well. So it shows you, and over here, like I said, the government works to make sure small businesses get at least 23% of all federal government contracts. So there we are. And then another thing is, I talked about the prime contractors being required to have subcontractors on jobs. So right here it says for contracts that are worth more than $700,000 in the construction space, it has to be 1.5 million. They are required to have subcontractors on that opportunity. So another way, of looking at it is, not only is there opportunities to get money from the government agencies, but there's opportunities to work with these bigger companies, these bigger organizations, because they are required to work with small businesses through the guidelines in this program. So we actually have someone on YouTube who said that they are located in the Hubzone. It says, does my business home office apply? Well, yeah, it definitely applies. That's your location. So you are also in a Hubzone. Congratulations on that. So yeah, into this, like I was saying, this is the federal side of it. I'm going to hit a little bit on the state and local government side of it as well. So states have their own programs in place. Some cities have programs in place. It depends on the size of that city if they have a program in place to govern this work. And counties have certain programs in place as well. So right here in this article that really prompted this conversation was about Houston. Well, not Houston, Harris County. I got to stop saying Houston. Harris County conducted a disparity study, and they began a disparity study in 2018. And the results for the disparity study recently came back and showed that they've received a failing grade on diversity in contracting because minority and women-owned firms received 9% of Harris County's contracts, despite representing 28% of the market. So this is where our job and our civic duty taps in, because we have to also make sure that not only are we requiring and requesting to hear more about these disparity studies, which I'll definitely talk a little bit more about that, but we are also taking a look and making sure that there are fair practices at our state and local government levels, because that's right here in our own backyard. So we want to be able to do business with our counties, our cities, and our state government entities, and any of the anchor institutions that we are close by, we work with, and we're leveraging. So at the state and local government level, there are two types of programs that you can have. You can have a race and gender neutral program, and those programs are usually just the small business programs, so the SBEs, the small business enterprise programs, or the local business enterprise programs, or sometimes they'll name it something different, like I know in Savannah they have a program they just launched called Savannah First, but it's a small business program for businesses. It's a local business program for businesses located in Savannah, Georgia. And these programs are, like I said, it's good for the businesses because it allows you competitive advantage in the market space, in the marketplace. And it's good for the government agencies because it helps them to increase the work that they're doing with local businesses. That also goes back into the economy. It goes back into the local economy, and it continues to drive it as well, because the more you hire these businesses, the more they can hire other people within the community, and then for them, the more taxes they pay. So that's kind of like how the circle works a little bit. I'm really narrowing it down a lot. Next week, like I said, we really only have like 15 more minutes in this conversation. So I'm going to do a part 2 to really go into the local, state and local government programs, and also show some processes into how that works. And I'll have my partner on as well see, so he's done a lot of the work with the local, state and local government agencies in terms of like reviewing policies, reviewing the public policies, and conducting these disparity studies. So on to the next side of it is they have programs, those are the race and gender neutral programs. So there are also race and gender conscious programs that you can have a minority owned, woman owned, or veteran owned business. So it's a called a Crone study, but it's a disparity study. Its nickname is a disparity study because they're reviewing it and taking a look at the disparities in that marketplace to show, are fair practices in place? Is there a group or a segmented population of individuals who are being left out, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally? And what steps need to be taken in order to rectify the issues that are going on, right? So that goes into a disparity study. So there's actually a full history behind this and how the requirements for the disparity study actually came out. So I'll talk a little bit about it, but like I said, and we'll go into it more detail in part 2. So this was back in Atlanta, and the very first time that an organization, a government entity, had required a actual program for work to be set aside for minority owned businesses was in Atlanta. I think he was the first Black mayor in Atlanta, and he implemented this program. Well, yeah, he implemented this program, and it began to, that's how a lot of businesses, a lot of minority owned businesses in Atlanta were able to make money in this government contracting space, and really, help build up the community in terms of the ecosystem there, and elevate elevate the community in terms of different economic opportunity and growth, and building businesses that were really sustainable, and helping families create some form of generational wealth, being able to send their children through college, and being able to continue to acquire wealth by purchasing more homes and things like that. So of course, naturally, there became an issue with the requirements for the MBE program, and the city of Atlanta, they got sued for this program, and they ended up going all the way up to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court basically ruled that it was unconstitutional without having a proper study in place. So ever since that happened, state and local government agencies are required to have a disparity study conducted in order to have a race and gender conscious program in place. And that's actually governed under the Civil Rights Act of 1966. So a little brief history lesson. But like I said, we'll go into it a lot more in depth next week. Right back here, same time. I want to take this last few minutes to answer any questions that we didn't know about it. Oh yeah, Tracy said, wow, didn't know that. Well received. Yeah, definitely necessary to know about this. Like I said, it's our civic duty to make sure that we are, not just sitting back, being quiet, being passive about this type of, things that are going on, and making sure that the wealth is being spread evenly. So it is, and I'm here in Georgia. Right? Oh yeah, right in Georgia. I see you up there. I've been in Atlanta in and out these last few weeks. Well, not the last few weeks. Like the end of the year. So yeah, I'm usually in Atlanta. Yeah, back to back throughout the week. But because of COVID-19, I have been here in this lovely home office for the last few months, and I am going stir crazy right now. How is everyone else handling, the transition from COVID-19? Got it. Oh, one other thing I wanted to hit on. This was about the Oh yeah. And that's it. It definitely gives you that time to learn, get into new things, and take advantage of stuff while you have that time, while you have the time to do that. This is another thing that I want to hit on. So it was about the actual requirements of those set aside programs. So here's an example of one right here. where they are building a international African American library in Charleston, South Carolina. And the requirements for this job, that they are looking for a subcontractor that they can work with, minority-owned businesses in these 4 areas. So I will go to this website, let you see some of the work that they do when doing outreach for these different projects. So that's another thing that we're working to do as well, start partnering with more of these organizations, so that way we can have the opportunities directly from those suppliers, and we'll be able to like let everyone know about it. We'll be posting it on all of our social media channels, as well as on the newsletter that we usually send out. So yeah, so here's, this is showing the work that they are looking for from these 2 different contractors. So it's a prime contractor. Nations Roofing is looking for minority-owned minority-owned contractors to provide this following work. So if you know anyone that's in Charlotte, South Carolina, yes. No, not Charlotte. I'm talking Charlotte is in North Carolina, Lord. Charleston, South Carolina. And also this other one is looking for someone who can do drywall and finishing labor. So yes, two different opportunities. Also, like I say, you can see more. I'll go here to the project team. This is the like the design, the 3D model of what this International African American Museum will look like. And these are some of the companies that are on this. So you have Turner Construction, you have Brownstone construction management team as well. So these are 2 huge corporations, 2 huge organizations that, well, 2 huge organizations in this construction space. And of course, you see that. You can also see more about the design team and the work that's being done in this area. But yeah, so that's how they advertise these opportunities. And like I said, we will be doing more to get, work with these prime contractors, get these opportunities, the opportunity and information out to you firsthand. There we go. Let's see, we got one more question. On average, how long does it take to get your first government contract as a new business? It really depends on what you do. And I say that because if you have something where you're selling products or something, like products and services are 2 completely different areas, 2 different avenues, right? So if you have something where you're selling pens, I only say that because I got a pen right in front of me, but you're selling pens and they're looking for some pens, and you have the better pricing, you could win that contract. It's different with services and different labors and things like that, because you have to usually go through a full proposal process. So it can take anywhere between 6 months to a year, sometimes even 2 years. So that's just because like I said, this is a learning process. Every time you go through this, you are learning in this process. No one's going to come in knowing everything about this stuff. Like, it's impossible to do that because the information is so vague, and it's so many people. I mean, it's so many organizations who have completely different processes in place. So it's impossible to know everything about procurement just getting into this space. And that's one thing you want to do. You want to learn in the process. You want to know, you want to, take advantage of it, because you can write a proposal, go through the bidding process, and then you could actually, you can get like you can get responses on the proposal that you wrote, after it's concluded. You can get responses on the proposal and the information that you submitted to this agency, and asking them, the question, how can I do better? What can I do better to, make this opportunity more of it? To make this more appealing, right? Let me move this down out of the way. So that's one. Another question is, how do I change my NAICS codes? So in SAM, we got a few minutes, so that's why I want to do this, just in case I need to show how to do something. And let me know if we have any questions on YouTube. But in SAM, I'll log in so you can see how to change the NAICS code. So it's basically the same way you went through that registration process, you would do the same thing to change those NAICS codes. It wouldn't take as long as it did the first time because you have already completed it. So let's see. Gosh. Okay. Okay. Got it. So I'm gonna log in. Don't be looking at my password. I see y'all. That's not my password. They're gonna call you and give you a code. But yeah, so it's the same way you do the entity registration. You'll go through, you'll click on it, and you'll go to existing entity registrations. Click on the one that you want to change the NAICS codes for, and you go to update entity. And you go through some of the same stuff. You don't have to go through. Hold on. Remove that. Okay. Yeah, so you go in and then you can change your codes right. Sessions right here. I don't know if it's gonna let me go straight through it. But yeah, it won't let me go to it, but you'll have to go through it the same way you did and just change the codes, change your primary code. But like I said, the process, it wouldn't take as long as it did the first time because you don't have to go through the process of verifying the EIN or getting assigned a cage code. It won't take that long. You already have that information, so you can just go in and change those. Go in and change those codes and you'll be good. Do we have any more questions? Got it. All right. Thank you. I appreciate y'all definitely stopping in. Like I said, I really just try to make sure I'm getting this information out because it's necessary to make sure we're taking advantage of this stuff. These opportunities are available, and the amount of money that we have been missing out on is crazy. So especially now's the perfect time. Now's also the perfect time to make sure that we are holding, our elected officials and everyone involved accountable. Yeah, so we're holding everyone accountable, and I keep pulling that up. I'm going to pull that up. Now is the time to make sure we're holding everyone accountable. It's also an election year, so it's another way to make sure we are holding people accountable. Everyone wants that vote, so we gotta make sure we are, being strategic and asking for the things that we want and need as a community. And so that's pretty much what I have. I don't have any questions right now. Ebony, yes. So Tracy asks, is GovLia on YouTube? Yes, GovLia is on YouTube. I do suggest subscribing to the YouTube channel. So right now, the content that's on there is information from Free Game Friday, and this is only episode 2, but we will keep this going. I love these sessions. And also we will be doing like more training content to put on there for how to create a profile in our platform, our GovLia platform, which I'll be sharing that as well. How to identify NAICS codes, just basic information, small clips, not the long conversations. There's usually like an hour long that I'm doing right now, but smaller clips, 2 to 3 minute videos that are just quick and help people get through the process, through the steps. And yeah, so we focus primarily on the state and local space because of the solutions that we provide, but we also work with prime contractors and help businesses do work in the federal space as well. So yeah, we will be posting more content on YouTube. We're on social media. We're literally almost every social media platform. Instagram is like our biggest network right now of people. We got the most followers on our Instagram page than we do on any other social media channel, but we are on every social media channel. So yeah, check us out. Let your friends know. Tell your people, so that way they can definitely get in on this as well. So thank you all so much for showing up. If you have anything, you can, like I said, always drop me a line. You can hit me in the DMs. You can hit me via email and comments. We respond directly to comments. If I'm not doing it, I have someone on my team who knows all of this stuff as well, who are actually responding to these comments as well. But like I said, it's either one of us at any given time. So reach out. We are here for everyone. We are here for you. So yes. Thank you. All right. Have a good day, everyone. Have a good weekend. Be safe. If you're in Florida, stay inside. If you anywhere, stay inside. Just make sure if you're in Florida, stay inside. All right. Have a good one. Later.